Recording.
Yep.
What is going on? You are watching and listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition. I'm your host, Stevie, alongside Kodi Maurice Doggette. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful. I had some beautiful acupuncture today. I'm rested and rejuvenated.
Rested and rejuvenated. I like that.
Oh, yes.
This is
Yes, darling.
yes. This is episode 394 on our new home on Vokl, VOKL. I hope some of you have migrated over to the new site. No, it's our brand new platform over here, and we're just kind of getting used to it, but bear with us. This will have more bells and whistles, I promise, but it might take a couple weeks to get used to.
Oh, yeah.
But we are here, we are loud, we are proud, and let's get into this show, Kodi, because we got a lot to cover.
Let's get
I believe we are also broadcasting on our YouTube channel too. So if we are, you might be watching us over on YouTube. You might be watching us over on Facebook now. Who knows? It's all up for grabs, but we are live. This show gets repackaged. Yeah. So stay tuned. And the beauty of live streaming. Yes. All right. Well, we have to give you an update on a recent, you remember Chicago, the hit and run that happened just recently. Let's just update you on that. In announcing as a fight broke out in front of Jeffrey Pub earlier this month, one of the patrons yelled out, "I got something for you," and walked up the street. Minutes later, a car came barreling down the block, reaching around 60 miles per hour as it plowed into a group of people still tussling in front of the bar at 7041 South Jeffrey Boulevard in the early hours of August 14th. And the video showed people being hurled through the air. At least one of them landed on the next block. Killed were Jalen Osley, who was 23, Devonta Vivetter, who was 27, and Donald Huey, who was only 25. A 22-year-old man was seriously also injured. And then a week later, police say they placed Tavis Dunbar, 34, behind the wheel of the car. What they don't have yet is a clear motive. Why did he do this? We don't know, said the chief. And Tuesday morning, there's 3 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder. The announcement came the same day as a funeral for Huey and a wake for Osley happened, and relatives welcomed news of the arrest, but said they were disappointed. Authorities could not say why their loved ones were killed so brutally. Wow, Kodi, it's developing, but at a snail pace, and not surprising sometimes when it's people of color like this. It's just we don't have enough information. Glad at least we can report a little bit more on this, but once again, our hearts to the victims, families.
Yes.
These guys were at one of the oldest living bars in Chicago, and they lost their lives to this. They're children in my mind. At 20, yes. I was such a child, barely getting started. So it's just really sad. And as we get more information, we'll continue to let you guys know on that. Yeah. How's it going with our listeners tuning in live? Do we have one listener on our new home?
We got about 5. We're doing good. 5 or 6. If I'm counting correctly. I don't know. Oh, no, we have 6. Yes. We're doing great. I think we're doing great. People have migrated over. Callie Dad is here and Daddy234 is here.
So I just got to go to the chat. So people just got to say hi in our new chat over here.
Yeah.
And we will shout out. I'm going to keep it on chat over here. I see people coming on board. So this is great. Bear with us if you are listening to this when this gets repackaged, because we are getting used to these new bells and whistles, which is a lot. And okay.
I'm used to dial-up still, so you know this is too much for me.
Old school Seinfeld days over there in Mr. 90s. Well, we are about to embark on a segment that I am calling "Celebrities Are Just Like Us," right? Or are they worse? That's this next segment, and we've got so many celebrity stories coming at you, including the first one. Many of you, I'm sure, have heard of this already. RuPaul's Drag Race star Shannel, is it, Kodi?
Shannel, yes.
That's Shannel.
Her name. Yep.
Denies stealing
from
hundreds.
Season 1 of RuPaul's.
Oh, okay. So then maybe I'm not on Shannel's side here, and she might need the cash. So that might explain why she has been accused of stealing hundreds of dollars from an audience member in Las Vegas at Senor Frog's. Get this. The bill for this small group of people came to $1,200. And in a bit, Shannel is seen in TMZ. I'll put this on TAGSPodcast.com. Performing her number, and at one point goes up to a table and grabs a purse. She already has some cash in her hands, so keep that in mind. This is critical. Yep. I watch a lot of those crime shows. This is critical to the story, y'all. Keep up.
CSI on TAGSPodcast.
Here we go. Okay, so she's got a wad of cash in one hand. She goes up to a table who is clearly jamming to the vibe, grabs a purse from a blonde woman who anyway, I'm just going to call her the blonde woman. Number one.
Your name is better than my name, number. So.
No. We're not going there yet. She grabs the purse, and as she grabs the purse, she fiddles through the purse and pulls out what, in my mind, looks like kind of a small wad of cash. Now the woman and they viewed the woman, and everybody looked like they were going along with the quote unquote bit. And the drag Shannel went up and carried on. Well, the woman seen in the video looks to her friends and said, I had a lot of cash in my purse, hundreds of dollars in there. And when it appeared that Shannel was carrying on with her bit at the stage and was carrying on with her show, that no money was being returned to the woman, the woman and her friends got up and proceeded to get out, and they were kind of pissed, right? Because Shannel just took, whether it was a couple dollars, $600 or $700 as it's being told in the story.
Alleged, yes.
And Shannel went off on a tirade, calling said woman Karen. And
that was my name for her.
The C word, and on and on. Said some really horrible things to the woman. Yes. And this is a Jake Resenow event, right? Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe so.
It's one of those events. Huge kerfuffle ensued. One of my favorite words, kerfuffle.
Kerfuffle, yeah.
Ensued, and ultimately the woman went on TikTok and called it all out, and she's been called out for being a Karen. Shannel has gone and said it was a couple bucks. She apologized for escalating the argument at the time and said she'll never ever pick up a purse again and do that bit again. It was meant to be quote unquote funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whose side are you on? I'm just going to say whose side. I'm on Karen's side.
Go.
I'm on Karen's side because...
Are we officially calling her Karen now?
Well, no, we're not, because she's not a Karen.
Call her, but
she's a lovely woman, and you can't call a Karen somebody that was paid what sounds like $1,200 at Senor Frog's. First of all, that was the first mistake. Like, why was this so expensive? But it's Las Vegas, y'all. So, there's that. But she was not somebody that is a hater. She seemed like more of an ally to the community, as I like to say, as she was there spending good hard cash on a show, not to have her purse being dragged open and money being taken out. Whether it was a couple bucks or a wad of $700, bad bit. And I think they're covering it up. Jake Resenow and all those people. I think because they ended up covering the $1,200 that the people spent for the brunch, and out of quote unquote good faith, they reimbursed $700, or they gave $700 in addition to. Now the woman, of course, asked for $5,000 in damages that I don't know that she's ever going to get. But whose side are you on?
So I want to be on Shannel's side so bad, and I was on her side until
sight unseen. You were on her side.
Exactly. I was like, I'm on Shannel's side. She would never do anything like that. She is a classy queen. All right. And she don't need that lady's money. But then I watched the video, and it was definitely a wad of it looks to be a wad of cash instead of $1 or $2. And at the very least, she shouldn't be going inside someone's purse and taking anything, honestly. I've seen it done in bars and at drag shows before, and it's a gag. But with the stage that drag is on now... Do
not be getting into anybody's cash flow in this climate right now where everybody is a little hypersensitive about everything.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that because drag is on such a worldwide stage now, you can't afford to do that type of gag anymore. You can't pull the stunts like you used to pull stunt queen Miss Shannel. And she is a stunt queen because she did this thing in season 1 where she shook her headpiece off. So it's okay that I call her a stunt queen. It's just for that. But
stick to the shablams or whatever they're called.
So I am actually on Karen's side with this one. And I never thought I would say that in my life, but I am on Karen's side.
Yeah, I think I am too. And we'll see how this plays out. But let me know what people are saying in this. Everyone needs their coins in this climate, says El Rey.
In this climate, yes.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to celebrities are just like us, right? Or are they worse? Coming in at number 2 is Dustin Lance Black. You all know Academy Award winner Dustin Lance Black of the Harvey Milk film entitled Milk, or correct. He's married to Olympian diver Tom Daley. Well, the two of them, let me see if I can just do the story on my own because I think I don't without reading anything. The two of them were in London recently having a lovely night. I think they even brought their kid out for a lovely night. They were in really on holiday, as I like to say, having a lovely night. And they carried the night into the bar scene in London and went to a couple bars. Now I need a little help here. Because I want to get the right person that they ran into. When they went out, so on August 18th, the married couple decided to have a date night in London with their 4-year-old son. Well, the night led to partying at Freedom on Wardour Street in the Soho area. And that's when they ran into TV personality, reality star Teddy Edwards, who's a female, by the way, just in case you were asking about that. Edwards is most known as a promoter for Lick, a queer women's event group. So
she's queer too? Okay.
Yes. So Edwards she's appeared on the Big Proud Party Agency, a party planning competitive TV show. Well, Dustin and Tom were invited by Teddy to sit with them at the bar because Teddy invited them to have some drinks, which she, I believe, bought. And at one point, Teddy noticed another person sidle up to their table, which she did not recognize. And she told security to please escort this person away because they don't belong at our table. Well, according to the story, and I've read several, yes, something I would do too. Dustin Lance Black did not like that. And as the story goes, this is all we have, you guys, threw a drink in Teddy's face. As he was storming away, Scooby-Doo, and as he was walking away, he was hit in the back of the head by Teddy, which she said wasn't the hardest, but she did smack him in the head because she did not have a drink to throw back in his face. And she thought, and by the way, in all of this, she says that Tom Daley was lovely, could not have been more lovely, as the Brits like to say, but that douchebag Dustin had more coming to. Dustin went outside and called the police and filed a report on the whole situation, in which Teddy had to sit there and take in all these questions. This is all the report that we have so far. The only thing I'm going to add to the thing that I know about Dustin Lance Black is when I used to live in West Hollywood back in the day.
Give us a tea, girl.
Pre-Academy Award, I used to see Dustin at WeHo. He did walk around. He did seemingly have a little bit of an attitude. Like he knew he was going to win that. He knew he was destined for Oscar-winning status. You could just smell it. He would walk around there like that. You could just smell it. I mean, he ended up winning an Oscar, so I'll give it to him. He did not look around and say hi. He was not that friendly at all. I remember it distinctly. And I also have another friend who liked Mr. Black, and they had a little exchange later. But then he turned my friend down because he met somebody apparently younger and prettier.
Tom Daly?
No, pre-Tom Daly. Pre-Tom Daly.
Oh, I thought I was getting
this is, I, once again, am not on the Stars side. I think that, and this is literally the news that we have on it all. Whose side are you on, though?
So I was going to say, can you give me a story where the homosexual is in the right, please? But now that you told me Teddy is, in fact, a part of our community, I am definitely 100% on Teddy's side, okay? Without any reservations at all. Because I don't know about you, but when you throw a drink in somebody's face, it is over. And in most places, it's
which I've done before. And you ran into the person. You ran me into a person that I threw, and they recounted how I threw a drink in someone's face, and they still wanted to pick me up. They still wanted to be with me, but normally I don't recommend doing that at all. I threw a drink in a guy's face. But I did. I happily did it.
This is not Housewives, so I don't think that we should be throwing drinks in people's faces.
It's so fun to throw a drink in someone's face, though.
Look,
let me just tell you, it is so satisfying for the moment. I'll say,
Steve.
It is. It just
Rodriguez.
It's Stevie now. For the
Stevie.
record.
I apologize.
If you're nasty. Yes, it's Stevie now.
Miss Stevie is your nasty. Okay, get it, girl. I respect.
But listen, let me just say this about Dustin. Even if it sounds like he called the police, and was it really necessary to call the police on somebody? Could you not have dealt with it, left the situation? It sounded a little drama on his part to escalate by calling the police and said that he was assaulted when, in fact, according to the records, he threw a drink in someone's face. That's the initial assault.
And he started the whole thing. So why would he go and call the police when you started the whole thing? He's going to jail. Take his butt to jail.
Okay, I think we're still on agreement. I love it. What are people saying before I move on to our next Hollywood story?
Callie Dad says white on white crime, and I am appalled and aghast. Okay, I can't believe it. And El Rey says a drink in the face is asking for whatever you get in return, and I agree. And he also goes on to say, please advise your listeners never to do it to him, and I shan't. I am just going to keep all my drinks in my general vicinity when it comes to El Rey. Thank you very much.
I love it. Well, keeping on with celebrities are just like us, or are they worse? All right. Many of you, I'm sure, watch Euphoria on HBO. I certainly am up to date on it.
Are you really?
Oh, yes. Here's why some people are calling Hunter Schafer a transmedicalist. First of all, do you even know what a transmedicalist is, Kodi?
I had no idea until I read this story.
So what is a transmedicalism? It's the belief held by very few trans people that in order to be transgender, you have to experience gender dysphoria and be diagnosed with gender dysphoria disorder. It says that trans people who do not have dysphoria, and especially those who don't undergo medical transition like hormones or surgery, are not real trans people.
Wow.
Okay, so This is what Hunter Schafer is being accused of recently when she simply liked something on social media. What did she like, you ask? Well, the trouble started when Schafer liked and commented a series of exclamation points on an Instagram post about the difference between binary trans people who medically transition and non-binary trans people who don't. The post argues that non-medically transitioning trans people are to blame for recent attacks from the right, saying that trans health care isn't a necessity and shouldn't be covered by insurance. However, what it fails to do is realize that the problem isn't coming from the trans community, it's coming entirely from those attacking us. So, quote, I hope all of the people who fought to have trans identities no longer considered a medical condition that requires dysphoria are happy because you've won. The post Schafer commented on and liked begins, that's how it began. Also, it goes on to say, this is what Schafer liked, the red states are beginning to agree with you. HRT and gender-affirming surgery are no longer deemed medically necessary for adults in Florida, and it's not going to stop there. Y'all just couldn't stand to let binary trans people be the voice of this community, it continues. You had to dismantle all of the guidelines around being trans to fit your narratives so you could feel valid, and then you demonized trans people who challenged your ideals and called them transmedicalists. This is really intense in my mind.
It's really in depth, yeah. And I thought I had my mind made up, but now kind of hearing a little bit more in depth explanation about what it is about. I'm not quite sure.
I think it's come to a state where if you have a high profile like Hunter does, that if you simply like something and put some exclamation points, you could get canceled or at least get thrown under the bus for a moment in time, which is kind of sad that you can't even have your own opinions on certain things. She's coming from a trans point of view and simply liked something. She didn't put this out there on her own. So there's that side of it. There's the other side of it too, that is dividing within the community. In other words, this is a fight within the community that I feel doesn't need to really happen. We should all be able to kind of find a common ground in the community that doesn't find us dividing it like this is doing. Like if you're Kodi, for example, making this up, you're trans because you went through surgery and I'm not because I identify as non-binary, but I haven't gone through the transition. I don't think that that's valid. And I think we're creating divisions where there shouldn't be within our community. And we need to come to, but I think it's a conversation because a lot of this is all new. And I think we should flesh it out. I don't think people should be coming down on Hunter like this, but it's a conversation that we need to continue to have. What are your thoughts?
I completely agree with you. I think that it was probably taken out of context. Maybe Hunter is more upset with the people that are deeming transgender, whatever of that nature, to the surgery not to be necessary or not to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Not to be deemed a necessary thing, like you said in the, what did you say? You said it was unnecessary,
right?
So I think that it's like you said, it's just a conversation that needs to be had. And I think that anybody who is transgender should be able to choose what and how they adjust their body or not adjust their body, because it's up to them at the end of the day. And this is there's room for everybody, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely. What are people saying before we move on to more celebrity stories?
So Daddy234 says we can't let the red states tear us apart. And I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, absolutely. El Rey says no shade, but I'm still working on pronouns. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Daddy also says, I miss this. Seems like someone is aiming their anger in the wrong direction. I couldn't. Yep, that's it.
Absolutely. One more story on celebrities are just like us, aren't they? Or are they worse? Coming on at number 4 is Harry Styles, and he's been quoted recently because he's in a brand new film called My Policeman. Quote, queer people don't, this is the article. Queer people don't need Harry Styles, and he better stop speaking for us. The singer has been slammed by fans over a comment about the film depiction of gay sex two guys going at it as he longs for tender and sensitive version of gay sex. So the singer, who's 28, spoke with Rolling Stone about his new film My Policeman, in which he plays a gay police officer hiding his sexuality in 1950s America. Harry said, quote, so much of gay sex in film is two guys going at it, and it kind of removes the tenderness from it. So that's what he said. I would imagine some people who watch it, who were very much alive during this time when it was illegal to be gay, wanted to show that it's tender and loving and sensitive. However, fans took to Twitter to criticize the singer for speaking for queer people while refusing to claim the community, because he hasn't, I guess, he's not totally out, right? He's kind of gender fluid, I suppose, Kodi?
He's not ready to define his sexuality, I think, is what is going on. And he's stating that he should be allowed to explore. It's the general feeling that I get. I may be wrong. This is all alleged.
Harry also detailed his refusal to conform to a sexuality label, and discussed his journey to, quote, figuring out his sexuality. And many of you may or may not know, he's currently dating actress, director Olivia Wilde. So he said he's not really willing to do that. He's playing a gay man. I'm kind of here for calling it out too, because he's a new actor and he's in this new movie, which I guess is showing tender and a loving sexual scene, which is great, and I'm happy for him. But I would argue, it, as I was telling you in our production meeting, that we haven't seen a lot of gay sex at all. And I think we were talking about it on a recent story, that it's high time that we start seeing actual gay sexuality, or all of our LGBT sexuality, portrayed on the screen in some way, shape, or form, because it's the only way stigma is going to be taken away. We've never seen it for years and years. And so if there's a scene like, who did I write in Murray Bartlett, in one of my favorite shows of last year, White Lotus, Murray Bartlett with Lucas Gage decided to change the scene that they were having in an office room. And Murray, the actor, said, I think this scene would be hotter and more realistic if I ate your ass. It would ring more true to the character that I'm playing. In other words, they wrote it, probably straight people wrote a scene between these two characters. And Murray, who's an out gay man, said, listen, I think this scene would ring more true and be a little bit more provocative and be more realistic if I ate this guy's ass, Lucas Gage's ass, in the show. And it got a lot of press, but it was realistic. And I say, so Murray came from the standpoint that we don't see a lot of gay sex on the article that I'm quoting. We don't see a lot of gay sex on. One might argue, as somebody pointed out, is maybe Harry Styles is referencing gay porn, where you see everything in full porn. Maybe that's what he's talking about, but we haven't seen it, and we need to see more gay sexuality out there so it's not stigmatized, and so people don't think that, oh, what do you do in bed, and all this kind of crap. It's like, this is what we do in bed, and we can also be loving and tender. And good for you, Harry Styles, for one of your first acting roles to have a loving and tender gay scene. Good for you. But that's not all of gay sex. Sometimes it's throw down sex, hot
in the back alley.
In a back alley, and we're not going back to the 70s. We're not talking about just whatever. What are your thoughts?
This is a lot to unpack. I was just starting to really, really, really like Harry Styles. It seems like he's a really great ally to the community. But then he goes and says something like this, and he puts his foot in his mouth. Because as far as I'm concerned, there have been so many depictions of loving sex, loving gay sex out there. Maybe not in the mainstream, but if you think about movies like Latter Days, like you know Latter Days,
Yeah.
like Weekend. Remember that movie?
I own it. It's on. I have a DVD right above my shelf.
It's so good, and it's so loving and tender. And Moonlight, remember Moonlight?
And let me stop you really quickly there. Some of them combine tender and hot gay sex. Weekend has a little bit of both of it in there, which is reality. How many times when you met and when you have probably a combination of hot and tender and throw down, knock me on WWE sex, and it can all exist.
Hey, I'm here for all of it, and I think that there's a space for all of that sex out there in mainstream media and media in general. And Harry Styles just probably watch more gay movies is what I'm thinking.
I think it shows his young youth age, and this is why half the time we go for our female pop stars like Lady Gaga, and Madonna, and Janet Jackson. Because when they throw it down and this is why they are allies to us, because they are not afraid to talk about sex and just depict it in their art form. And then when we finally, I think it's so new, like that article that we had on a previous episode, gay sexuality, the actual sex act, is a new phenomenon not in the world, but in portrayal in media that we don't know. We're all like, oh, I don't know what to do. Nobody knows how to really depict it. So we're coming out of our ass in left and right. And Harry Styles, who's 28, doesn't know what he's talking about. Good for him for getting. Yeah, good for, or he's 23, whatever. He's young. The point is,
I don't know. He's young.
My point is, and I have a point, is that he is talking out of his ass, and to me, good for him for having a role that is touching and tender, but do not define all of it on what we need or what we need to see or what's been shown, because it's inaccurate, and I think we need all of it.
I agree with you. And my point is, the gay community does not begin or end with Harry Styles. Boom.
Okay. Drop the mic. Drop your mic for me, right, please? No, don't do it. We're on a skeleton crew with this new platform here. So what does El Rey say before we move on?
He's 23 in Beyonce years. I wasn't going to be shady like this.
Well, thank you very much, El Rey, because yes, I agree.
He does not look 28. He looks a good 35 if you're being generous. Anyway.
Okay. I'm going to put our next final story on Celebrities Are Just Like Us, or are they worse? The final story comes in with Mr. Man Presents Cockapalooza, where you vote for your favorite celebrity penis. So this is kind of a good example, Kodi, of how we're finally moving. Finally, now we're seeing cock in film, real cock.
I'm so happy for it.
Yeah. So it's interesting that Harry Styles is like, oh, we need tender and this and that. It's like, no, if you watch old films like with another Harry, what's that classic 1980s film with Harry from The Real Housewives of LA? Kodi?
Hamlin. Harry Hamlin.
Yeah, in a classic 80s film where it was tender and very exactly what Harry Styles is talking about. We haven't had a lot of cock in film or hot gay sex. Well, this next story, get ready to rock out with your favorite celebs cock out. Mr. Man's Cockapalooza is your chance to vote for the best celebrity cock, because why should the actors get all the accolades when it's their schlongs that are selling cinema tickets. Love this story on cockandcocktails.com. Thank you very much. More stars than you think have revealed their manhood on screen, and they scoured their comprehensive nudity database for the juiciest celebrity penises ever on screen. Well, I'm going to post this on TAGSPodcast.com because I want everybody to give their accurate vote. But those of you watching live, we put it in the link there for you to vote. Kodi, did you have a favorite celebrity cock veiling that really spoke to you?
That was such an eloquent and lovely way.
You know how I roll,
yeah. Several spoke to me. I would, if I was single, I would like several to actually speak to me up close in my face. Okay, but I have to give my award to. Are we giving out awards?
Give your award. You can vote. It's a vote, but just like our straight up thirst trap every week, this is now celebrity edition.
We should start this. We should make this a weekly thing as well. So my favorite is Aaron Taylor Johnson. He has been one of my favorite actors for such a long time, and for good reason. He has done multiple scenes like this with his penis out, and I'm here for all.
Oh, I see it.
Right? Who is your favorite?
Aaron Taylor Johnson. What movie was that from?
I have no idea. It's not listed here, and I have no idea. So I have to go search for this movie now because I want to know what's happening in the scene.
There's some really good ones, including Adam Demos, which seems to have a foot-long penis. And
it's 2 inches from the floor.
Yeah, it's really luscious. But, I got to give it up to my man, Antonio Banderas, who was 22 years old in this footage. He revealed, as they're saying, his fat cock and balls in this 1982 flick. And I got to imagine that it's Pedro Almodovar, one of the quintessential filmmakers of all time, who I have to say he was a muse to Pedro Almodovar for years and years before Penelope Cruz. And I just think I don't know if it's a Pedro Almodovar film. It would seem like it is, but regardless, I want to watch this film now. And it is kind of fat and thick, which I love, and a hairy bush, which I'm here for. All the delicious. Yeah, everything's looking good in there. Anybody saying anything before we move on?
Khalidad says the late Gaspard Ulliel. How's my pronunciation with that?
Pretty good, sweetie.
Thank you. Je parle un petit peu de français. Je sais. So, yeah. And everybody weigh in. Let us know who you think has the best celebrity cock out there. This is, audience participation at its finest, honey.
Yes. All right. Well, we got moving on. Thank you for playing for Celebrity Edition of They Are Just Like Us, or Are They Worse? Moving on, though, we've got to report on this really insane story of an Italian man who became the first person infected with HIV, monkeypox, and COVID at the same time. Kodi.
What?
The patient, a 36-year-old Italian man, developed a fever, a sore throat, fatigue, headache, and inflammation of the growing area about 9 days after returning from a 5-day trip to Spain, during which he had sex with men without a condom. The man tested positive for coronavirus 3 days after the symptoms appeared, and proceeded to be a series of tests taken in the hospital came back positive for monkeypox, COVID, and HIV. This case highlights how monkeypox and COVID symptoms may overlap and corroborates how in cases of co-infection, things can occur like this. What were your thoughts of this? This is being reported now in, let me just get this, the Journal of Infection. Mm-hmm. What were your thoughts when you first heard this, Kodi?
Lady Bunny posted about this on her Instagram. And I just thought it was really sad. And this person could have gotten COVID from anywhere, but monkeypox and HIV is most likely, more than likely, from the same person. So it's just really sad, and I really hope that people are out there being safe as possible in this climate. To add just a little bit of levity to this, because this is very serious, and I'm really feel bad for this person.
Yeah, it's interesting because the White House rolled out a monkeypox pilot program at the recent Charlotte, North Carolina, Pride. And one of the things that they had, in addition to getting monkeypox vaccinated, was rapid HIV testing. So you could get both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good reminder that COVID is not over. So we still have to be careful with that. If you are immunocompromised, you have to really take care of yourself. If you, obviously right now, there's a recent story that we talked about it on episode 393 about how 50% in this study of gay men are currently reducing their sexual partners right now, which probably is a good thing, I think, in this climate. Not to overuse that statement, but I think it's a true statement given what we're saying. But to not forget about HIV, and that if you are not on PrEP, you need to still take care of yourself. And not everybody is on PrEP. We haven't wiped out HIV completely. There is no, we hear about cures happening all the time in microcosmic storylines, but we are not at a place right where we've eradicated HIV completely. And you have to also think about that too. Not to mention STIs. STIs, though, typically you can go get a vaccination for that, or, it can be treated. HIV is a whole nother level of things. Fortunately, there is U equals U, and you can, but still, this guy's immune system showed that a few months before, he was HIV negative. So he got all of those things in that period. Monkeypox, COVID, and HIV within a month of a period.
And to kind of leave this on a positive spin, all three of those things you can protect. There are steps that you can take to kind of protect yourself from. So please do your due diligence and make sure that you're getting vaccinated for monkeypox. Make sure that if you are having casual consensual sex, that you're on PrEP or using condoms, or taking the steps that you can to kind of mitigate the chances of you actually acquiring any of these diseases. So I'm really, my heart goes out to him, but everybody be safe.
Right. Yeah. Anybody saying anything before we move on to my cue up our next story?
Callie Dead says that's a triple threat, which I think Lady Bunny said that too. And El Rey said, leave it to Italy to one up the world. And I really just think that that's just messed up. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad for this person to have to go through all of that all at once. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean,
COVID is bad on its own.
COVID and monkeypox will subside.
Yes.
And HIV will too. But now it's a lifelong treatment that you are now going to have to be on.
Diabetes, basically.
And I just think that's why I brought up the North Carolina Pride, in that I like that they're also queuing it up with getting tested for HIV too. We have to, when you're on PrEP, and it's not a sure bet that when you are on Truvada or a derivative of it, that it's 100% guaranteed that, that's why you have to get tested every 3 months. But you are doing your thing to hopefully mitigate getting that. Nobody should be getting diagnosed with HIV currently, I think. And even it, but it can fall through the cracks as well. So
It's nothing is 100%.
No, nothing's 100%.
But you definitely take the steps that you can in order to make sure that you are being as safe as possible.
Right. All right. Any comments you want to make before we move on, Kodi? Or are we?
No, I would like to move on to our next story.
Well, we have got to talk about Bobby, I Love You. Last night, gay history was made when the Zeus Network, you guys, the Zeus Network, get into it, premiered the first episode of Bobby, I Love You. Is it purr?
Purr, honey, purr.
It's a reality television competitive dating show. It's the first of its kind to feature a Black gay socialite looking for love with one of 15 competitors. And it proves that the LGBT community, that there's a home for all television needs. This is according to Instinct magazine. How did the first episode go? In one word, chaos. So Bobby Lyte is the main character, and many of you may know him from VH1's Love and Hip Hop. Miami, right? Or just Love and Hip Hop?
Miami, yes.
Yeah.
He's Trina's cousin.
Trina's cousin. I was watching a whole wrap-up on him, on who he is. Hailing from the famous family, Bobby Lyte is the show's bachelor. He's a model, rapper, and has a reality show under his belt, already with VH1's Love and Hip Hop. Browsing Spotify really quickly, according to Instinct magazine, his most popular song appears to be 2018's Way Up. I was sampling a couple other songs too. There's not many though. He had been infamous for his feud.
Okay.
He had been infamous for his feud with social media personality Rolling Ray. After
you
years,
honestly, you did not know who Rolling Ray was. You guys, I had to send him the clips because Rolling Ray is hilarious.
I was like, who the fuck is Rolling Ray? I watched the clips, and after years of verbal slayage, the duo finally made amends in an episode of The Conversation, another Zeus Network show. All right, anyways, let's just get down to business here for our purposes here on this show. Are you into Bobby, I Love You? Do you think he's a good example of a dating show in this climate that we need right now? Because it's drama. There's already been a fight broken out on the first episode of the show. What? I think this is what Bobby Lyte brings to the table. He brings drama in his brand. The other thing I will say is some of his choices are kind of hot.
Oh, great. Yes. I thought you were okay. No, yeah.
That's all I have to say about it. I think I want to get the Zeus $5.99. I kind of watched this hot mess. I know it's going to be a train wreck. I can already tell. I'm kind of here for it. How are you weighing in?
I think we got to find somebody with a Zeus subscription because we need the login so that we want to watch this show. I don't want to subscribe to Zeus. Oh my God.
Can we get a sponsor in the house, please? Can we get a sponsor?
Can you edit that out? I will totally talk up Zeus Network if it will give us a membership because I need to be watching these shows because I think Bobby Lyte is great TV. And fuck being a good representation of gay people because gay people are not a monolith. We are not all the same. And I think snaps to that. And I think that Bobby Lyte is representing himself, and people need to learn that there are gay people of all shapes, sizes, types, ethnicities,
makeup.
You name it, honey. We are out there in every respect
shades
that
of
you
brown.
can think of it. Yeah. So that is out the door. Bobby Lyte is good TV. I can't wait to see this. I am not going to say anymore. I don't want to be in a Twitter feud. Bobby Lyte will make me cry. I don't want...
What about Rolling? What is it?
Rolling Ray will make me cry. I am not trying
I can't with Rolling Ray.
I
can't with Rolling Ray.
I think think they're fabulous. I love them. They're hilarious. Purr all day, purr, honey. Okay.
I think you're right. I think it's good TV. I think people are once again back to the Harry Styles thing, wanting to box us into, oh, we've only seen this or that. I think there's room. It sounds like Bobby is a pioneer in reality TV for our LGBT.
I agree.
Whether you like him or not, that is the name of the game of reality TV. He is a pioneer in that market. I'm not saying I'm here for it or not, but I think we need people like that to break the groundwork, to be out there, and then everybody else can come along and have their piece of the pie as well later on. Or they're, yeah. What are people saying before we move on? I see you typing away there, and
I was responding. So El Rey says it's not his market, which I'm okay with. But can you get the login? Is what I need.
I kind of want to watch this show. I might just get it and share with you. All right, I'll get it.
Oh, you're gonna get it for us?
I think I might. It's that left of center that. Oh yeah, you know what? Thank you. Let me call.
See if they will sponsor us.
Yeah. Okay, sweetie.
And we will talk all day about. We will give a recap of Bobby, For the Love of Bobby. What is it called?
It's called I love you,
Bobby. I love
Lyte,
you.
I love you. Purr.
Yes, ma'am. Purr all day. And we will. Purr is going to be my new catchphrase. You have, in this climate, I'm going to have purr, honey. Okay.
Not for the love of Bobby, says El Rey. Oh my God.
Callie I want to read this too. He says, from what I hear, the Zeus girls stay fighting. And there's another show on Zeus that.
All right, I'm going to get it, Kodi.
Okay, let's do it. Milan Christopher does it, and it's called Bad Boys LA or something like that, and they always fight on there. And I am through my trap living phase in my life, but I can appreciate from the sidelines.
I love it. Okay, well, I think I'm skipping around, Kodi, but I'm going to skip to this other story because Caesar XS, porn star Caesar X, and I mean XES, Caesar XS or Cesar, shares his top 5 reasons to go to a naked pool party. And by the way, earlier today, Caesar XS was featured at Island House in oh my gosh, what Island House is in?
It is in Key West.
Key West, thank you. I have been to Island House several times and I love it. I miss it. I want to go back. It's a lovely, amazing gay, what am I trying to say? Just gay
guest house.
House. Thank you. My goodness.
Yes.
It's really cool. It's really clean. It's got great rooms. You are in your own oasis there. There's a public pool. There is a couple different hot tubs. There's a dark room where it gets nasty and fun.
Ooh,
well, they host earlier today, when this episode is aired, Wednesday, from 5 to 8, a clothing optional event where Caesar XS was the guest host there. And to get in the mood, he gives his top 5 reasons to attend a naked pool party. And I am somebody that is going to New Jersey's Gunnison Naked Beach this Saturday, y'all. So if you're going to...
You're going?
I'm going. You're welcome to come, Kodi. I'm going to flaunt my nakedness, and I'm really excited about it, of the season. And I almost knocked the wine bottle over. I got so excited here. But let's first talk about the naked pool party and why.
Yes.
First of all, number 1, man candy. We'll start this with the obvious. A nude pool party is the perfect way to cruise and meet like-minded horny guys looking for a good time, or just people penis watching. For those who are more spectators, I suggest a good pair of shades, according to cybersocket.com. don't want to get caught bird watching. I like that. It's a great way to cruise with like-minded people. And not everybody, Kodi, is into the nudity. I will say that. You are totally open to it, but I have a feeling your boyfriend is not really into it, right? Because he's a youngin'.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be right.
Okay, number 2, no need to beat around the bush or lack of bush, depending on manscaping preferences. So, unlike those pesky clothed pool parties, at a nude party, you get to see all the goods. So, if you're a guy who has a preference like cut or uncut, muscle, butt, or fat, juicy ass, all is on display. That's another reason I like it too. Yeah, I'm for this one too. You just get to see everything out and proud. I've been to this party before that they're talking of in Key West. I've also been to Nude Beach before. I like kind of just seeing it out there too. Also, I think after a while, I've been to nude parties before. It starts to become normalized and you don't so much focus on that. Number 3, people just tend to be more social without Speedos. This one I think I really like. This is a scientific fact. If you don't if it's your first nude pool party, make sure you're with your right group of friends. Leave the prude bitchy ones home. I've always had the best time at these things with my more social friends, aka ho friends. You know what? I have to say, when everyone is in a Speedo and everyone's being really cautious and giving the eye here and there, it's not as a fun time for me as parties like this where everyone's nude. And I think walls tend to come down. Would you agree with that one?
Nice. I agree. Yeah, definitely. Look, I am a huge proponent of a Speedo. I look really good in a Speedo, so I love to wear them. Tomorrow when I post on my Instagram, it's going to be in a Speedo, so look out for that, everybody. But I do agree that when I'm in a Speedo, I kind of am sequestered because I'm trying to look cute. But if you're naked, then you can't really just try to look cute. You have to be, distracting from my penis.
Well, lastly, there's no tan lines, which of course is true. You don't get those horrible tan lines, but a lot of people like them. I just think having a level playing field of nudity is just right up my alley, and I'm here for this pool party that this guy's hosting, and I will be at Gunnison Naked Beach this Saturday all afternoon. If you happen to be in New Jersey, I will have the umbrella up, so check it out.
Honey.
What are people saying? Yeah.
Callie Dead says reason number 1, rock out with your cock out, and El Ray says he'll meet you there. So you
come on, El Ray, come on, yeah, I'll be there.
Callie Dead also says, go ahead, Steve. As his grandmother used to say, it's a poor dog that can't wag its own tail. And I love that saying. I'm going to start saying it all the time now.
Love it. Yes.
And Callie Dad also just put in the chat, tan lines can be sexy. So I love a good tan line.
None also sexy too. He writes. You forgot the last part of the sentence.
Okay, all right. Maybe I am just reading the comments as I'm tailoring it to my point of view.
Let me just give my final viewpoint on this before we move on to the final moment. Is that we've all been to parties where we're all a little bit insecure about our bodies, and is this the right bathing suit? Is it a Speedo type of party? Is it a board short? Or is it this kind of thing? Or is there going to be attitude there, which there often is, or not? Are people going to talk to me or not talk to me? The one common denominator that I will say at a nude event is that all of that gets thrown out the door.
Yeah.
And what I love about it is, who cares if you have a Jean-Paul Gaultier swimsuit on. No one cares. You are in your own birthday suit that costs nothing, that is worth more than that bathing suit, and the attitude is left at the beach side, the wayside, and people really judge each other just on, you get over yourself. And I find people are a lot more down to earth when I'm at these kinds of nudity events versus these other types of parties. That's just my 2 cents on that, and I'm sticking with it.
It levels the playing field for sure. So,
and I'm there this Saturday afternoon, 2 drink minimum, and join me. Lastly, we've got to play our favorite game. It's by Straight Up Gay Porn, and we're always asking the question, Thirst Trap. This week, we're asking the question, which out of these 15 gay porn stars took the best photo or video? And it's our job to vividly describe in an audio podcast who took that best picture. Kodi, who's your favorite pick of the week?
My vote goes to Manuel Reyes and Rain because it's a couple photo. It reminds me of me and my boyfriend. They're both beautiful. They're standing in a living room, butt naked, and looking like they're posing for a prom photo. It's gorgeous. They're gorgeous and loving and gentle and tender. And Harry Styles isn't in the picture. So I love it. Thank you so much.
There's some really big
Who do you love?
dicks going on.
Oh, there's some nice dicks going on.
I think Brock Banks is my favorite.
Oh, really?
Who's looking a little bit juicy in the shower scene. He is flexing his abs and his dick is just juicy. It looks uncut. We've been talking a lot about that lately. I love the bush. I love the abs. I love the star on his upper right pec, or both pecs, actually. I love the beard. He just looks juicy, luscious, friendly, and inviting. And I'm going with that. Yeah. Brock Banks. Yeah. What are the people saying?
Nobody has. Oh, okay. Joey Daddy 234 says Joey stole.
That's okay. Don't vote.
Him, please. I was like, nobody has said anything yet. Guys, please come on. Let us know who you like.
Joey stole for me, he says. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. That's a good one, too.
I also really liked...
Ooh.
Let me look and see. Oh, Joe, my boyfriend, liked Ty Santana.
Okay. Callie God likes Drake Vaughn. El Ray says, I need to research Rain, R-E-I-G-N.
He is a good-looking man. Rain is beautiful, number one.
Come on now.
You know, there's a whole police officer on there.
I love the police officer. Drake Vaughn, we love. Yeah. No.
I got scared a little bit.
He's in... I loved... Well, yeah. Okay. I was ready to serve the police officer I was ready to do my time and not avoid jail time. In my own fantasy world, that's what I came up with. Is that wrong of me?
No,
Officer Dom is giving Prince Harry. Says Callie Dad. Although Brock Banks is looking good also, says Daddy 234. The conversation is continuing. Okay, well, this has been so much fun. Thank you for hanging in with us on our inaugural Vokl debut here. We will get this down. I think we did okay. I think it's working.
I think we did great.
I think we're doing okay over here. Weigh in, and you can always follow. I'm losing my train of thought. You can always follow my co-host Kodi Maurice Doggette. He's a life coach at KMD Coaching on Instagram, or Mr. Maurice at Mr. Maurice. Follow us at TAGSPodcast on all social media platforms, of course, darling. And thanks so much, guys. So much fun. And in the meantime, Kodi, continue having safe, hot, gay
sex. Hot gay sex.
Yeah.